Hello, everybody. Welcome to my podcast, to the Gregory Talk Show. I am Mr. Jackson Gregory, not yet, at least, Boston Tea Party. We're going to be talking about the Boston Tea Party. We're going to do a Who Was book review. And then we're going to talk about my hobbies. What I do personally. Boston Tea Party. Alright, so I've got a few books I got 4 books in total, but I've got a few books that'll help us on our discussion on the Boston Tea Party. So, basically, alright, how it all started. So King George III was the ruler in the era of the Boston Tea Party. Let's see where the timeline is here. This is around the 1600s. 1600s. No, hold on. That's not right. This is like 1765. This is when the Stamp Act was, the Stamp Act was an act that taxed paper items. Even playing cards were taxed with the stamp. The colonists, didn't want that. So the colonists rioted and burned and destroyed a whole bunch of stamped stuff. Also, after that, they took down the Stamp Act, and they said, okay, you don't like this one, so we're going to give you a new one. And it was the Townshend Act. And it taxed things like paper, or I think it taxed paper. It was like, here, let's see. Oh, this is a great book, by the way. Boston Tea Party. What was? Let's see. Where are we going? So, I know it taxed stuff like, I think it was like glass. What is it, like maybe paint? It was called the Townshend Act. Townshend? Something like that. Basically what happened is, we started rioting again. The Boston Massacre happened. They took down that act, the Townshend Act. Then they put in its place the Tea Act. The Tea Act. It was just a tax specifically on tea. Oh, and the Townshend Act also taxed tea. Tea was a big deal. People didn't. I think it was they didn't trust the water, because they rightly predicted that boiling water killed germs, or killed what they thought made people sick. So I'm gonna get comfy. I need to get comfy. The tea was a big deal. So they boiled water. I think it was because they didn't trust it. They thought it made them sick, and they boiled it. And, you know, while they're boiling, why not throw some stuff in there and make it tea? Okay, I know that was not very specific. You don't throw stuff in boiling water and, you know, stuff. That's not the word to use. So, what else did they do? Yeah, so they basically only drank tea because they didn't trust water. So they just always made tea. So this was like very big deal. Then, you know, they didn't like that, so they boycotted tea. They smuggled tea from the other colonies, I'm pretty sure, and they the Daughters of Liberty, I think that's what they called themselves, made their own tea. Yeah, they made their own tea, and basically, yeah. It was the East Indian Company, the East India Company. They sold tea, and because they were boycotting tea, you know, they had a whole bunch of unsold tea. So, so 3 ships boarded the Boston harbor. The combined cargo was 342 heavy chests of packed with tea. And I think we held them there for like 8 days, or not 8 days, but like 3 days. And then we I think it was 3 days. I don't know if that's right. But then we sorry there, friends. But what I was saying was we broke onto their ships and we threw the tea into the harbor. And that is now known as the Boston Tea Party. After that, they passed the Intolerable Acts, where they literally had to let soldiers live as they had to let soldiers into their own homes and feed them and clothe them and house them, and that was. I think that's why we have our Third Amendment. Hold on. Hold on. Here's a sweet pocket constitution. In God we trust. I like that. Alrighty. Alright, yeah, this is it. The Third Amendment. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. So that's pretty cool. So this is sweet. I love. That's cool. That's an awesome thing to have. Just a constitution in your pocket. All right. Who was book review? All right. Overall, the book on the Boston Tea Party is a very good book. It's packed full of information in a very small, easy to read book. It's very good. I give it lots of stars out of 10. Declaration of Independence. A good book. George Washington. I wasn't a whole lot interested in George Washington. I was kind of interested in it, but it's not my favorite book, but it's still a good book. Now this one's a really good one. This one's probably overlooked, but this is one of my favorites. Mr. Alexander Hamilton. This is a very good book. I really like this book. He's a really noble figure. He vowed to protect somebody who was he protected somebody who was a loyalist because he protected somebody who was a loyalist to the king, King George III, and that's pretty noble. Talking points. What are my hobbies? I like to read. I like to do math. I like science and philosophy. That's my kind of thing. I'm interested more in science, I guess, than philosophy. But I like metaphysics. That's a whole topic to be had. Alright, we can talk about the kalam cosmological argument. So basically how the kalam cosmological argument goes is every being which begins has a cause for its beginning. Now the universe is a being which began, therefore it possesses a cause for its beginning. Ooh, I'm tired. That was I made you yawn, didn't I? Don't you lie to yourself. Alright. Alright, yeah. So, basically, we can prove the universe is, finite and not infinite, because atheists have typically said that the universe is infinite. But, I mean, that's a physical impossibility. Because think about it. If there is an infinite amount of time, if there is an infinite amount of past time, then it's impossible to get to the present moment. Because you can't cross infinity. You can never cross infinity. You can't cross infinity to get to the present moment. The present moment would never arrive. So, and then there's more. There's the redshift. Hubble discovered the redshift in near galaxies, I think. And I don't know a whole lot about that, but he discovered that the universe is expanding, so it's not infinite. Big Bang Theory, that perfectly, I'd say that suits Genesis finely. So, another thing is, St. Thomas Aquinas, he's a great philosopher. He said, his first three arguments go like this. Every being, every being is set to motion by another being in motion, right? But that cycle can't go on for infinity. So, for instance, everything that's in motion is put to motion by another thing in motion that was put in motion by another thing in motion, and so on and so forth. But that can't go on for infinity because that would be infinite regression. That can't happen. It's impossible. So, because infinite regression is impossible, and let me tell you why. A train, even with an infinite amount of box carts, can't run without an engine. A spring can't function without a watch can't function without a spring, even with an infinite amount of gears. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry. The train eventually needs an engine, and the watch eventually needs a spring if it's going to function. So, I'm tired. Alright, so, the kalam cosmos. We're talking about the kalam. I'm running low on fuel today. I'm running low. My battery is low. I need sleep. So the kalam cosmological argument. Alright, so yeah, that's Thomas Aquinas' first argument. The second argument, it's necessity and contingency. So every being gets its necessity from another being, but that cycle cannot go on for infinity because of what I explained. So eventually there has to be one necessary being, like one, thing where all ultimate necessity originated, and that would be God. Alright, hold on. I'll be right back. I gotta sharpen up on my Thomas Aquinas skills. Sorry, but talking about St. Thomas Aquinas is causing me mild turmoil. So I guess this is from your host of the Gregory Talk Show signing off.